All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Sincerely George, and I am so happy you are joining me this morning. This promises to be a great show. So, to get things started, I just want to highlight a couple of people in the community who I just want to send a shout out to and say thank you to. I want to send a shout out to Spanish Fly. She is one of the XRP people of the day. Over the weekend, she felt compelled to start her own charity campaigning and really help to get money or XRP sent out to somebody that is completely outside the XRP community, and was definitely worthy of being honored. So a big shout out to Spanish Fly for just recognizing somebody in the larger Twitter universe who was worthy of attention and just trying to drive our community members to just go and shower love on them. So big shout out to Spanish Fly for that. And the XRP hashtag that she created was XRP Purple Heart. And it relates to something that a soldier did over the weekend. But I am not talking about that. I worked hard to stay away from that conversation this weekend. But this was really a sign of how the XRP community is really trying to help the broader community and the good works that we do. So big thank you to you, Spanish Fly. So after I identify somebody to put on the list, right, for the day, I like to go and stalk their Twitter stream. So in stalking Spanish Fly's Twitter stream, I found this, and this is so true. And it was a repost from Cami USA, and Cami and I are friends on Twitter. But this was a great repost. My dad was approached by a man requesting $1. Dad offered 65 cents. The man refused, saying it wasn't any money. Nothing he could do with that, and walked away. Same man came back several minutes later and asked for the 65 cents. Dad offered him 30 cents with advice. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And that is so true because a lot of times we have people such as Peru Crypto and other people in the community that are just mad tipping people with 0.01 XRP. Yet we all expect XRP to rise exponentially over the next period of whatever you're coupled into. But if it's going to rise, why are people griping about only being tipped out for a very small amount? And Dusty BC, one of his messages what was, I see many people being ungrateful for zero point 0.1 XRP or for 0.01 XRP tips. It's not about the amount of money, it's about the gesture. And just for fun, we are taking money that is zero point 0.1 XRP will be worth a fortune. And so, this is totally true. So, don't feel that when you're out there using the tip bot that you need to send out large amounts of money, right? We do that to try and engage people, fund different charity campaigns. But I think it's really important to just recognize the gesture that somebody thought to actually give you something. So, thought I would, hone in on that. Another person that I want to showcase today is Big Chris 79. So Big Chris 79 and I were talking, and in the gist of our conversation, Chris plugged me into a channel that I want to reveal to you. So I don't know if Chris has joined yet. Nope, not here yet. That's okay. I will let him know that he had the shout out for the day. But I want to highlight this channel that he plugged me into, Kevin Cage. I'm not sure if anybody has found Kevin Cage on YouTube, but really a content-packed stream is what he seems to put together in his videos. In this specific video that Chris was pointing me towards, it's actually an article from Galvatron's blog where he's going through the article and talking about it. In other videos that I saw on his channel, he is also, talking about other news that is happening in the space and really focusing in a little bit more on the speculation. He's got a voice that commands a lot of attention, which is one thing, and he has a good way of communicating. So if you haven't checked out um, this YouTube channel and you're interested in just getting an understanding of what's going on out there, a different perspective, definitely check out Kevin Cage's channel. So I know we're going to get there soon. Yes. And from a serious point, I wanted to bring this to everybody's attention. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but over the weekend, there were some malicious links going around where if clicked, it all of a sudden sent a message to everybody in your email box, or I'm sorry, in your Twitter contacts, and sent out a message. So from Research Omega, he sent out this instruction on how you could remove the apps. So if you clicked the malicious link, that you got as a DM, you could go and I didn't have. I did click the link. I did not have a malicious app, but I'm going to show you where and how to deal with this because I think it's really important. So if you click the malicious Twitter DM link, desktop settings and privacy, apps and devices, revoke app. Okay, it's the same thing, more or less, except for on the Android and iOS, you actually have to go settings and privacy, account, apps and sessions, right? I think that's because you can have multiple accounts open while you're actually on the mobile device. So let's take a look at that very quickly. Let me close that actually very quickly. I'm going to save this because I'm going to retweet this out again because I think it's important. I went through after I received this tweet. I actually went through and did a virus scan on my computer. Checked the link. I did a specific link check to see if it was a virus link, a link that was known for spreading viruses. Reboot my computer because I did it on my computer, and was really weary about logging in afterwards. But knowing that I already have security on my computer, I felt pretty confident. But I'm concerned about things such as keyloggers, and keyloggers are tools, malicious tools that track everything you do. So one thing that you can do to get around keyloggers is use a password manager such as LastPass to input without having to use the keyboard the actual passwords, and they create strong passwords. So there's a couple of different things that you can do to just protect your security. And if you aren't doing them now, you might want to consider doing them because it's a big bad world out there. So let's take a look at this note though. So if what I've done, because the farther to the left you go on this, the more information you can actually see. And I'm sorry, I'm not all about giving you guys my telephone number. I don't need no calls while I'm at work. So what we're looking at now is Vine for Android. I don't even know if Vine still exists. This is an app that I allowed to have access to my account in 2014. Yes, I remember the Vine launch. It was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is possible. But here you have the ability to click revoke app. Okay, so that's how you do it. Okay, that's how you would revoke the app based on the instructions that Research and Omega provided. So, oh, because this is, see, my face is about to disappear. I better have a view over here so I know what the heck's going on. But here, as I expand this you see that here are the apps, right? And then you're going to come down into, which one is it? I just had it. Golly gee, into applications. Okay, so you come down into applications, giving you this view of all the applications that have access on your computer. So what he was mentioning in his post actually relates to what you're doing within the Twitter app itself. So I hope this is helpful. If you need any more information about this, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm very concerned about everybody's security because if I'm connected with you, there's a chance you're going to send something to me. So let's just stay away from that. But if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. All right, so here we go, getting into more fun stuff. But before we do, I want to come on over to the chat and see who has popped in. We've covered all the serious stuff for the most part this morning. We have some things I want to talk about, but let's get to it. So the first person in the chat this morning was Jay Vaughn. Welcome, Jay. Bubba Shipes, good morning. Lionel, good morning. Thank you. Happy to have you here. Crypto Seafood, Tina Hall, Princeton Hunter. Wow. Good morning, Princeton Hunter. So happy you're here. So I want to have a little bit of conversation about this tweet that Lionel shared with us. It's not the typical down with Bitcoin, what's going on in the world, XRP to the moon. He also had another really good one about how slowly XRP moons. But I wanted to sort of tunnel in on this because Edmund D. Rothschild Fund. I've been doing some digging, found the most recent report that shows they've tripled their investment in SBI over the past year. Here are two screenshots for you. Long XRP, our time is now. Retweet. XRP Community. Okay, we don't need to read that. But if you zoom in here, right, and I know this is really difficult for you guys to see, but we see that right there, the third one, right, is SBI Holdings. Um, and I think it's pretty interesting because this is sort of the conversation that I want to have with you. You know, BTC over the weekend has gone up. I haven't even checked the price this morning because I care more about you than the BTC price, but I'm pretty sure that it's still up. Yeah, BTC is up quite a bit, currently up over 10%. XRP is up 1.25%. And other assets within the market are up about the same. Litecoin's up 7.72, ETH and ETH Classic are up 4 and 5%. But XRP is staying in the 1 to 2% range. And to me, it feels like, and I heard this joke, so I'm reusing somebody else's joke, but it feels like the world's best stable coin at this point, right? It's just staying still. And so to that point, we see things like this. We have the Western Union announce goodness, we have the MoneyGram announcement last week that they are live with X Rapid and are using XRP. We have SBI going live last week. We have reports like this showing that big firms and big organizations around the world that have the money, have the analysts that can do deep research into different opportunities and companies are making investments in companies. We know that people are on board. We know that Ripple has a large number of partners, yet our price is not going up, right? The price of XRP is not going up. We have Bitcoin up 10% and we're up 1%. So I'm wondering, are we still coupled to Bitcoin's price? We don't seem to be following the same trajectory as other digital assets that are out there. And I'm interested in hearing your opinion. Are we still coupled? Right? Because if we're truly coupled, then we should be rising like every other digital asset out there. But instead, we're stable, right? We're very stable. The last drop hasn't really brought us out. Bitcoin was down in the mid to high, 95 plus, nine. I think the lowest I saw it go was to $9,600. Okay. Did it even go that low? Maybe it was 98. Anyways, old news. And now it's, $11,500. And, you know, XRP went down. We hit our low point, right? I think we might have touched 29 cents for a short period, but ever since we've stayed in this not, 31, 32. We haven't hit 33. But again, I'm not watching the market intently. But 11,000 versus 2 cents, so almost 2,000 and 2 cents. What the heck is going on? Same is true for other assets out there. So I'm really interested in what your guys' is response is. So um, Leonel says yes, still coupled, but the XRP is being shorted when BTC rises. Okay, that is very interesting. That is very interesting. Stock pump alert buy XX2 today. Thank me next week. 22nd Century Group. All right. I'm going to have to check it out, most definitely. And, woo, all this speculation. Is there a connection? So Lionel says when BTC dumps, XRP also dumps. I totally agree. And, we dump, but we've now, from what I've seen from being in this market for, a good 18 months and watching this stabilization that we've had with XRP that's happened over the last, really since August last year, so a year, we've really stabilized. Yes, we came down. Yes, we hit a lower price point, but being really stable, once we hit a price point, I haven't seen us go below 25 cents. So if Bitcoin dumps again, then how low will we go? How low will we go? That is one of my questions. So let's move on for a second. Oh, big news. There is another riddle out there. And this one is coming to us from Bank XRP. I don't know if you guys saw this. It hasn't got a lot of traction, so I thought I would help give it some traction. Um, and I think it's really, I wasn't able to solve it, right? And you probably won't be either. But then, not long after, Bank XRP comes back, haha, pocket texting. So I thought this was a good little joke over the weekend. We have so many riddles in this space. So good morning, Ahmed. Pleasure to have you here. No worries. Sorry about the notifications. We're really just talking about whether or not XRP is still um, linked with Bitcoin, right? Are we truly, and I've forgotten the word right now. Oh my goodness, it is definitely Monday. But are we still pegged to BTC? And I'm starting to think that we aren't, personally. I think we are pegged to BTC because when something happens in the market, everything goes down, right? So in on the Nasdaq, if something happens with Apple's reporting, and they say they're losing money, they can drag down everybody in that sector. So I do think that there is an impact, but I'm starting to feel like we are in some ways separate. And this feeling started, I think, really when the last meltdown happened. We were seeing other digital assets going down by a large percentage, right? And XRP was going down, but it was staying pretty steady. We did lose a lot. We went from, the low 40s to where we are today, but we've been able to hold here, right? And it happened very quickly all at once, and it didn't continue to go down. We were one of the first assets to actually start coming back up, and I was really, really shocked. Some people were talking over the weekend about the fact that incrementally we are going up, ever so slightly. But last night when I took a look at the market, I saw that we had this small little dip. So I was like, okay, pop that hopium balloon. So, um, what else do we have here? Hi, Flora. So happy you could make it here. Flora, we talk cryptocurrencies, digital assets here. Lady, Flora is a wonderful lady that I have met. So, for many of you guys that don't know, I have been trying to grow my channel. I now sort of understand the metrics that are required to grow your channel. Oh, and I did not, as you can see, I am Princess Tinfoil, right? My little hat here. I've been trying to grow my channel, so I have been participating in a lot of different activities within the YouTube community, and connecting with other creators. So Flora is one of the amazing women that I've connected with in the space and has been helping give me ideas on things that I can do on my channel. And in some ways, I blame Flora for my success. So Flora, thank you so much for being here. David D says there's no such thing as coupled. Coins are correlated to a benchmark, BTC. So soon are positively correlated. Oh, some are positively correlated, some negatively correlated. Coupling is an incorrect premise. You go, David. I like that. So we're correlated. So we're correlated to BTC, meaning our price is in relationship to that. All right. So I have to think on that. Do you have any deeper thoughts on that, David? Because I see the concept is like beta in the stock market. A beta of one would move exactly like the benchmark. Okay. Yeah, but the thing, David, my perspective is that for a long time, the altcoin market has been closely coupled or closely correlated to BTC. BTC starts to take a small incremental dump, right? And everything else goes down exponentially larger. And in the last dump, if you look at what happened to BTC, yes, BTC went down like 10%. It happened over a very short range of time, but other tokens were falling 15 and 20%. Some of the top 10, top 20 tokens we're taking a massive dump. At the same time, XRP, we were down 9%, I believe, at one point, and 6% for the majority of the dump. So there is a correlation, as you're mentioning, but in regards to coupling, right? I need to dig in deeper. Maybe coupling is the wrong word, but it's the word that we use in this immature market. So that's why I use it. Cheers. But I will look at it. I'm correlated. Baba Shipe says, I'm correlated to SG. When she's up, I am up. When she's down, I'm hunting down who caused her to and lumping on them. Oh, Baba, I love you. You are awesome. David, do market players play a role in your opinion? That's a good question. David, what do you think? Of course. All right. So, and we're starting to get to a good point here. So, if market players play a role, right, then, goodness, the conversation, if market players play a role, then how does that impact the correlation? Because it, you can't have the same type of, and I'm seeing what you're saying as being more related to what goes on in the standard stock market, right? So the correlation of when, as this specific stock moves, this other one is going to move in this fashion. This is what happens. But here, I see it as we have an actual, more of a coupling. So I have a pot of hot boiled peanuts cooking right behind me, and they smell so good. Send some my way. That's all you need to do. Baba, send them here. That's awesome. So I don't know if you guys saw, I don't know if you guys noticed that I'm wearing a crown this morning. This crown is sort of what got Chris and I talking. Um, but I had a really, really fun weekend. Twitter was not where I was willing to hang out. There was so much. The trending topics were just not things that I wanted to focus my energy on, especially on the weekend. Twitter this weekend was like rain on the weekend in the summer. It was like, "Oh no, I came for fun." Right? That picture of somebody standing there, ready to jump in the pool and a thunder shower starts, that's how I felt. So, I actually had a lot of fun and, really plugged into a completely different community. If anybody's been leaving likes and comments on that, I just need to let you know that anything that relates to that video being funny, I am downplaying because I'm really trying to attract people that need a tinfoil hat. I know they're out there. I know there are people that really want a tinfoil hat, and I want to engage with them on creating them. Right? I want my channel to be the the serious place they can come to talk about tinfoil hats because I just had too much fun. I couldn't stop laughing. So if you didn't see the video that I created this weekend and you need a good laugh, definitely check it out. I had a lot of fun making it, and one person asked, "How did you stay so straight faced?" And it's like, I don't know. The second one that I made, follow up questions on how to make a tinfoil hat, I had to keep videotaping that because I couldn't stop laughing when I was talking about going to IKEA for baskets to try on your head. So, um, Tina, thank you so much for stopping in. Very, very awesome to have you here. I appreciate you. When is Bob's bike ride again? Baba Shipes asks. Bye, Tina. Mwah. Uh, so Bob's bike ride is scheduled for the 7th. So it should be happening next week, next Wednesday or Thursday, I believe. So, all right, on to bigger news. So I think that I think that this, I don't know if you guys saw the video that Sam put out this weekend. It was really awesome. I really liked it. He connected a lot of dots looking at the MoneyGram, um, uh, earnings report, right? Their call that they have with investors, and some of the things that Joel Katz and Chris Larson have been saying over the last couple of months. Now, for anybody who does not work in technology, hasn't been in the business world, it's important for you to know that deals take a long time. right? So if you're talking about a small business, sure, a handshake, somebody already has their terms and conditions set up of here's what you get, here's the price, here's the terms and conditions, have your legal team read that. And most small businesses don't have, a strong legal team that can go out and read every single line, every single contract. The larger your business, the more risk that you have, that if something goes wrong, the liability that you would have to take on based on that loss becomes larger. So in, megacorps, the the process to sign a contract is long and arduous. Legal teams going back and forth on terms that are written in each other's contracts. No, we're not willing to limit in that way, refining it. And so this MoneyGram deal that we're hearing about now has probably been in the works. I would say 18 months to 2 years, in my opinion, just to get it to where it is, get it to the point where it's ready to launch, maybe even longer, right? So I thought Sam's post was really insightful. If you haven't gone and watched this video, I think it's a video that you might enjoy. It goes deeper on the details about the things that MoneyGram is saying and the things that Ripple executives have said on stage or in public, and then moments when they shut things down. Um, One of the interesting things that Sam, talks about in this video is new business opportunities for MoneyGram and how they announce that on their call. I'm not going to, provide a spoiler alert here, but, I'm not going to spoil it. I want you to go watch the video because I think it was really good. And it just helped to raise my confidence that, we're in the right place, in the right time. It's going to take time, and it's well worth being here. Um, shoot, I hit my topic too soon. So I won't even bother. I missed my bum but so Chinu, thank you so much for stopping in. Really appreciate you being here. And David D says coupled would means that if Bitcoin moves up 20%, then all alts would move up 20%. If a coin is 20% correlated, it would mean that BTC would go up 100%, alts would move up 25%. So alts would be 25% correlated. And I think, okay, the big words, right? You know the big words. I give that to you. You know the big words. I know some jokes, not a lot of jokes, but I know some jokes. And I think we're saying the same thing. When I say coupled, I'm actually meaning correlated based on your definition here. Because it's, BTC goes down a very small amount and everything else drops a considerable amount. So if we're talking mid 2018, I think you will see a trend at that period where BTC would go down 3%, right? And the altcoin market would go down, 10% at the same time. And pretty much across the board, you're seeing numbers of drops for other altcoins in, 9% to 12%, depending on the different altcoin. And then some might take a massive dump. But BTC would only go down a small. Now I see that reversing a little bit. I also started to see comments out there that Bitcoin dominance is up considerably. I didn't dig into that because I don't really care. I am more on the side of what Lionel says, that I think that Bitcoin is not the be all end all. It may become a store of value, but I think their dominance in the market is actually short term. Um, David says. Even Coinbase has showed the correlation component when looking at one's coin versus another. BCH is among the most correlated or coupled to BTC and like 94% correlated. Man, you are down and dirty in this crypto area. I love it. Look at these long messages. Man, keep joining. I like these comments. I need this. I like it when you show me something to go and look at. I did not know that Coinbase was showing a correlation component. To the behest of many of my friends, I use Coinbase for a lot of stuff because it just makes my life easier. Grayscale transferred all their money over there. Nothing makes me feel safer. Chinu says no data records anywhere of SBI VC XRP volumes. Maybe not live. Actually, they are live, but and that's a really good point, Chinu, because They're live, but it seems like a soft live, right? I was mentioning this to my friend Erin last week. They said, "We're live, we're live, we're live." And then people picked it up and went with it. And so and it was a press release that they're live, but you know, for the amount of money that they've invested, for the amount of partnerships, for everything that's going on around it, I would expect to be the internet to be smattered with their Twitter bots telling everybody, we're live, trading is available, come now, big arrows pointing to where to sign in. Instead, I think it's that they had to save face, just put something out there, and from that perspective can grow. I don't think that everything is in position yet. I think there are more pieces that need to move into position so that we can have the liquidity we need for XRP to really hold its own. So we're getting close to the end of the show. The conversation is just starting. I'm so excited that you guys got your creative juices going. This is obviously a topic that everybody has an opinion on. So I really value your guys' feedback, but I have to go to work still. So I can't keep going, but I will keep going right now. But I just want to let you know that when I end, it's not because I don't like you and it's not because I don't like what you're saying. I'm wearing a tinfoil hat, so I am protected from any bad things that could be coming my way. You can't read my mind. Nonetheless, I'm going to read your comments. Shanu says, no data records anywhere of SBI XRP volumes. Okay, I read that. Sorry. Shanu says, and Tina says, Shanu, bye, Shanu. Have a great day. Tina, we love you. We love you. Shanu says, Bitso Mexican preferred XRP exchange volume was very, very higher than normal. Last week, MoneyGram CEO mentioned about Mexican corridor. Correct, he did. And I want to go listen to that earnings call. Actually, I want to see if I can find it. But they did mention the Mexican corridor, and that seemed the Mexican corridor and the Philippines corridor are the two that I've heard mentioned. I'd like to go a little bit deeper on exactly what corridors are open. But one of the keys is that late last week, SBI was talking about going into maintenance mode because one of their partners was having a maintenance release. So how quickly until the Japanese corridor will be opening up is my big question. You have to think, if you're rolling something out, you can roll it out, you can have it turned up in production, but you can have links so that other people can't access it, right? Sort of like a paywall. So you're blocking real traffic, but you can be doing testing in the background. Um, Anyone bought XRP at SVI BC Exchange? No, but I'm going to start asking that on Twitter to find out who has. You're right, it's only for Japanese residents, but it's something that I want to know about, so I'm going to start asking about that. Baba Shipes, it's only for people in Japan, I believe. David says not all alts move down at the same percentage as to why you can't say coupled. Correct. I think each one has its own correlation percentage as you've defined, but at the same time, they're tethered to Bitcoin, and when Bitcoin moves, they move, right? So there's some, real coins out there that have absolutely no correlation when they're being pump and dumped. But if Bitcoin goes down, everything else goes down. So that speaks to correlation. I'm really interested in continuing this discussion because I'd love to change my mind on this. And if I'm getting it wrong, I want to hear from you because I want to get it right for other people that I talk to. And I don't want to be spreading bad stuff, but I still think there's a correlation or a coupling that is occurring. And yes, each one is going to be different. It's just like your relationship with your kids. You love them all, but you have a different coupling or correlation to each of them based on their interests and your interests and how those two relate. So Chanu, visa only Philippines. Chanu, I'm going to connect with you because I'm interested in getting information on where you are. Your name makes me think that you might be in the Philippines, so I will connect with you after the stream. David D says, like yours in this space. I don't get it. Baba Shipes, Saudi Arabia and US or UK is what I want verification on. Yeah, I agree. I don't think those corridors are open, but the comments that we've heard, like the Rain exchange that is open in Bahrain, is one that I find really interesting because it's one of the first ones in the region that it is re- open and available for Muslims. And the Sharia law is one of the things that hinders people in that region. So they have a different level of adoption. They have the religious considerations to tie into, as well as the move towards a trade or a conversion to using digital assets. However, between Arab countries, I believe that they are currently doing exchange. It's just not happening with the US yet. But once it does, I think that'll be very interesting. So we are 5 minutes over. Holy cow. What a stream. I love it. You guys are giving me a run for my money. Thank you. I appreciate it. I so appreciate you guys. And actually going to save some of this because I want to come back to some of these topics and really hone in on it. I think you guys are concerned about the same things I'm interested in. What corridors are open? Where is the liquidity coming from? What corridors are coming online? So I'm going to do a little bit deeper dive into that, and that will be sort of where we carry this conversation tomorrow, along with other things that are going on in the XRP community. So I want to thank everybody who stopped in today. Big thank you. I love you all. Low key chat today, but definitely worth a discussion. If you haven't seen this video, and it's not that I'm trying to hype everybody to go to Green Eggs and Ham or sound to the lifeboats on YouTube. I'm promoting it because I think that it really made me think, right? I listened to, I think, every one of his videos, but this one really got me thinking. So I really wanted to draw people's attention to it because it's one of those that goes, yeah, if that's going on, then that sort of makes sense in that way, and will make you really think over some of the stuff that you've heard over the last couple of months, and maybe even go back and watch some of it again just to hear it again and see, okay, what was Joel Katz saying at that moment? How does that relate to the larger picture as I believe it's unfolding? Nobody knows what is really going to happen. We talk about plans within this space, within the XRP space. We talk about, there being a master plan, there not being a master plan, everything just going. I think there is some level of plan because in order for this system to work, you have to have the liquidity so that money can flow quickly and easily. If it gets stuck in one spot, or if there isn't enough liquidity in the market for a large order to be satisfied, things just stop, right? If you're planning on going to the grocery store and you need tomatoes to make pasta sauce, and a store that you go to doesn't ever have any, it only has two, you'll drive the longer distance or pay the higher price to get your tomatoes somewhere else. And the same thing is true with this, what Ripple is rolling out. They, just like with every launch, you want to make sure that it looks perfect before you open the doors, because sometimes customers that come and don't find what they want, they don't come back. So with that, I'm going to close it out. I want to say a big thank you, big heartfelt thank you from me, sincerely, George. Thank you so much for joining this stream this morning, and we will continue this conversation tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.